Firstly, for those that might not know Peter Gaffney, this is the raffle. So the raffle tickets on the table. The winner will get that framed jumper. Now the formalities. Somebody asked me today what the L stood for. My son also asked me the same question. I said it stands for legend. And today's all about the legends of 1963, and might I say all the players that went before us to make the club what it is today. So welcome to all those players that played A and B grade that day. That was the day we established the Amateur League record. For those that don't know, we were the first team in the history of Amateur League. We promoted one year, which we don't like to talk about, but we won the premiership the next year, which put us back into our rightful place of A1. But just a special welcome to all the people here today. A particular special welcome to our guests who will read from later today. Graham Cooper, Steve Trainer, Colin Moore, 3 players who played with Exeter, left the club, but went on bigger and better things at Albert Nova. And their teammate through those years, Jeff Motley. Welcome back again, Jeff Motley. We don't have to speak about your record. Just I'd like to, there are a few of our players that aren't with us anymore, and we just reflect briefly on those players without mentioning names. We know who they are. Welcome to the Semaphore Central players that are here. There's a sprinkling of them here, and it's great to see them. Players on the field, but friends off of it. Few apologies. Barry Skinner. People ask me about some of the past players. He'll be one of the best that I've ever played with or against. Hard as they come from, skinny, fair-haired bloke. He hit a bloke one day at playing over, and I thought it was a volcano. And I thought, hell, everything's going to start here. He said, don't worry about it, Darryl, just keep playing. Colin Delaney, Trevor Pudding, and Teddy Bott can't be with us either. Another player who we all respected and like Graham Willoughby, who's unfortunately fairly ill, but his son is standing in his presence, Tony, and Graham's wife is here also, so it's great that they were able to come today. Special thanks to the Port District Football Club for allowing us to have this day. To Peter Gaffney, a very special thanks for all the work that he's done, the many hours that he's put in. All the graphics are up here. It's all Peter's work, those invitations, those placemats and whatever else has happened. Peter takes the credit for that. To the Legends committee, the Barry Pools and the Trevor Thompsons and his committee that worked towards the days like this. Special thanks, Barry, and your crew. And to the kitchen staff and the ladies who will be serving the meals afterwards, special thanks to them. It's just a few, I said about the present and past players, there's a few past players that, as I said, really helped establish this club. I can't go back to eternity, but I can for players that I did see playing down here as a young fella, coming down here with my brother. I just like, for those who don't know them, I just like these briefly standard, as I mentioned their names. Merv Nat, club member, home member, state representative, all Australian, and coach junior sides. Merv Nat. Telford Chambers, who's come from interstate to be with us today, one of the greats of our club, home medalist and a state representative on 3 occasions. Telford Chambers. Stand up, Phil. Roger Freeman, EP Names medalist, Chambers medalist, state representative on club for 3 occasions, and club life member. Terry Hunt, who's sitting alongside him, is state representative on 3 occasions, club perseverance on 4 occasions, and club life member. Peter Harris, state representative, and club player for a number of years. Brian Grigg, state player, club life member. Graham Hawkins, should we mention his name? But we should, because he is a dual medalist in A1 reserve for the great achievement. Graham Hawkins. I'm getting through this quick, Peter. Just a couple of special comments. I think we all know, and we all reflect on the 1963 Grand Final, and probably a lot of us here will be talking a lot of bullshit as the day goes by, but what happened on that day was something special, and there was one thing I almost overlooked, because Ted Boddington, our captain on that day, did ask me to read a message to you, which I'll read that now. I've got plenty of time. Much respected Ted. Underneath, I put together some brief comments regarding the 1963 Premiership and the forthcoming Heritage Luncheon Day. I'll leave it to the discretion to the committee in the Port Districts and all these fellow players that day. Thank you for the invitation to Heritage Day Luncheon to honour the achievements of the Exeter Football Club in 1963. As mentioned to Darryl when he rang me a few weeks ago, regrettably I will be unable to attend, as Morway and I, along with the Putneys, will be travelling somewhere between somewhere in northwest Western Australia. However, as I was fortunate to be captain of the successful team, I would like to make a brief comment in the recognition of this day. In 1962, I was part of a team that finished second to bottom in A1. I feel partly responsible for this unacceptable result and subsequent relegation to A2. So I was determined that in 1963, the Exeter Football Club should return to its rightful place in A1. Commencing training in 1963, I saw a few oldies, myself included, a group of young lads full of enthusiasm and desire to match my determination for the club to be motored back to A1. We achieved our goal with our win over Seaton Ramblers in the second semi-final and went on to take the ultimate prize, the A2 Premiership. Ted told me over the phone, he said, really that the preliminary final, he treated that as the grand final because he knew we were back in A2. After 50 years, I differ remembering the grand final, but I no differ remembering the euphoria that enveloped the club with the premierships in both A and Bs. I was privileged to lead a great team, and would like to thank all the players involved, both A and B, along with the officials and the supporters of the club that made this win both possible and so memorable. I'd also like to pay my respect to all those club members who have passed away in intervening years. And in particular, I'd like to pay tribute to Ray Cooper, who united the club united the players with a common commitment to win the premiership for the club and its ultimate return to A1. After 50 years, our memories might be a bit hazy, mine's not, but I'm sure there'll be many stories to tell. If you have any problems recalling events about 1963 Grand Final, ask Darryl, I'm sure he'll give you a full description of the day. Sit back, reminisce and enjoy the day, and that's what it's all about. So I responded to, he also went on to say, look, there's a little story that I'd like to tell. And he said, I'm not sure it's Donnie King or Alan Black, but I know who it was. During the match against Walkerville, my brother Peter was hit on the nose and the mouth by a wayward elbow from the angelic Vin Thompson. And if anyone remember Vin Thompson, he wasn't very angelic at all. Donnie King stopped me from remonstrating with Vin, but a little while later Vinny went down a screaming heap in a marking contest. Don was reported. I feel a bit guilty and was glad that when Don got off the charge, he pleaded that it was an honest attempt to a spoil that went wrong. I can tell you a few other stories about Don, but time won't permit. At Thursday training, I mentioned to Don that I was glad he got off. Don replied, "So am I, but I'm a bit pissed off. Not only did I leave work early to attend the tribunal hearing, but I put 2 shillings in the parking meter before I realised it was after 5 o'clock. So I did respond to Ted, but I won't read my response, but more about that later. But just reflecting on that day in 1963, of course, after the final, we headed off to the headquarters of Exeter Football Club, which was the Exeter Hotel. Jimmy Rose was a barman, and who paid for their drinks that night? I don't reckon many people would pay for a drink. I reckon that the profits of the bar would have been down that day. And of course, who will ever forget the march down Semaphore Road? For those who not realise, I think there may be a photo up there of we took off, we marched down Semaphore Road, coaching a wheelbarrow, and Pat Winter would like to know what happens with the wheelbarrow. There are rumours that somebody pushed off into the Semaphore jetty. But the next day the police sergeant stopped me in the street and he said to me, he said, "Was that your mob yesterday?" He said, "I heard this racket." And he said, "I come," and for those that remember the Semaphore police station, it was a deep walk, and he said, "I got halfway down there," he said, "because I wondered, well, because we'd stopped all the traffic and everything." And he said, "Then I remember that there was a local footy team in the grand final," so he said, "I just went back, sat in my office, made sure all the noise was over." And of course there was the cabaret that night, probably the best cabaret we really ever had. So that's that part of the day, because we will extend it, because of course we'll get our 3 special guests up. I'll give you 5 minutes to chat, and we'll get our 3 special guests up for the day. Graham Peter, Steve Crane and Colin Hall. We did, I can't remember what I've mentioned, but we had some people, ex-players that came from the country. I think that's a special consideration. Long drive for all the roads, I know who they are. Special thanks for that. We had, as we said, Telf Chains who come from interstate, and Trevor Opie who travelled from Western Australia to be here with us today. We've also got another guest here today. And it's hard to mention this, but he did play for Seaton Ramblers. He actually won 2 medals, but he won 2 amateur league medals, but we did beat the Seaton Ramblers, didn't we? As I said to many people, I think player for player, they should have been a better side, but there was one difference between the sides. They thought they could win, we wanted to win, and that was just, I reckon that we just stilled ourselves, particularly when we played them, and we believe we could win. Anyway, the most important part of the day, apart from that, is our 3 special guests, and I've asked them to each of them provide me with a bit of their history, and so I'll just quickly go through that. Firstly, with all due respect, Steve, I'll start with the older ones first. So I'll start with Graham Cooper, that's brother Graham. My daughter did ask me after I showed her his CV, she said, "What happened to you?" And I said, "Well, I'm very generous as a young person. I gifted everything over to him." But it's an amazing CV. Started with Exeter in 1957. That was the inaugural year of Exeter Junior Colts. And inaugural member also in 1957 played senior Colts with coach Merv Nat. 1958, centre half back, senior Colts won first premiership for Exeter Albert Oval, coach Merv Nat. World Amateur League EP Naser medal for fairest and most brilliant. 1959 commenced, so the following year he went to Port Adelaide, played senior colts, selected state senior colts side. 1960 started season as captain of Port Adelaide senior colts, selected the state junior colts. Vice captain, played Victoria and MCG as a curtain raiser to a state game. Invited to train with the senior squad, promoted the B grade side, selected a reserve in the losing grand final out at Noble. 1961, commenced the year with B grade, selected as a reserve in the A grade against North Adelaide against Prospect. First kick in A grade, a goal. Not many who recorded against my name after that. That's his comments, not mine. 1961, at 18, selected as a halfback, centre halfback, with his first full A grade game, an Anzac Day blockbuster. His opponent was the one feared Doug Thomas. 1962, at 20, played the first A grade grand final, defeated West Adelaide. Played 5 grand finals, B grade 2 grand finals, winning A grade in 1962, 1963 and 1965. So 5 A grade. How does that compare with yours, Jeff? 3 premierships. How many do you win? How many? Sorry, Brian. In the losing A grade grand final, 1969 and 1967. Beaten by the immensely successful run. Played 188 A grade games between 1961 and 1967. Selected as a fullback in 3 state games and stood the great Ted Whitten, that's his words, not mine, in 1965 and selected centre half back to advertise the team of the year in 1966. A great CV. He didn't write there, but Graham was also a very good cricketer. He actually, in a combined district team, which they used to have, he came second to John Corsby for most number of runs. If you remember, John Corsby played state cricket, and he also proved with David Sincock for the most number of wickets, and of course he went on to play for Australia. But who knows what would have happened if he'd have concentrated on cricket instead of football. Brian, if you'd like to introduce yourself to the people that don't know you. I think most people do. See, I'm looking at a photograph of Merv Matthew while I'm talking about Steve Traynor. But Steve given me his, he calls it ancient history. Very ancient. But here is my ancient history. 1957-58, Exeter Junior Colts, coach Ray Cooper, never lost a game. 1958-59, Exeter Senior Colts, coach Merv Matt, also played 1 game in A1, 15 years of age. 15, playing his first A grade game. 1960, Exeter A1, full season as full forward, coach Jimmy Hardy, whose photograph you see up there quite often. Finished third, I think. Captain Barry Skinner, I've mentioned him. Vice Captain Tilford Chambers, not bad memories. Some of the great players of this club, those 3 that we mentioned there, Jimmy Hardy, Barry Skinner and Tilford Chambers. Played in first game televised. There's a bit of history for you, for those who don't know it, that actually a game out here was the first full televised game of football in Australia. Before any league game here or in Victoria. Larks Oval, the big Steve played in that one. 1961-67, Port Adelaide Football Club, 121 games, 167 goals, 3 premierships, 5 grand finals. 1989-1996, selected the Port Adelaide Footy Club. During that period they won 6 premierships, so I presume he's taking credit for that. In 1997-1998, he was a Port Power selector. He finished it off and he says, I hope this is of some interest. Steve, a lot of interest, Steve, particularly a history of the Exeter Footy Club. Colin, stand up, Steve, and Colin Moore, Began playing at Larks Primary School, where most of us started primary school, didn't we? Went to Woodville High, played football at Woodville High. 1961, now here's something, 1961 and 62, commenced work with Sagasco and decided to give football away to concentrate on his studies and his career. And that's a great commendation, I reckon, to anybody. 1963-64, missed playing and decided to join the Exeter Football Club. And fortunately was a member of the A2 Premiership team, continued playing the Exeter Football Club in 1964. And we finished in the Final Four. I should have mentioned that, we did finish in the Final Four the following year. Probably lucky not to play them off in the grand final, but that's history now. 1965-1970, went down and played for Port Adelaide Football Club, did not play in the 65 grand final, was selected as reserve in the 66 losing grand final. 67 was selected to play at the grand final side, and again we lost. During the game, as I was contesting a mark, I crashed the ground, broke the left front forearm, the break did not heal, and the plate was inserted in 68. So I can remember that period of time, and it did have a big impact on his career. 9 games were played this year. 1969-1970, played with a leather arm guard. And I'll bet you used that to great effect. Did it? Did it? Did it? 71 and 72, appointed playing coach for Exeter Football Club. Unfortunately, was not whitewashed. You central blokes, did you hear that? Not whitewashed. Until early 72 was a non-playing coach in 71. Played in 72 until 15th of August when he broke vertebrae and that ended against St Dominic's at Larks Oval, and that was the end of his footy playing career. Very tragic day. Steve, now I was looking at a photograph of Steve Trainer. Oh, Steve, you were better looking than you are now. So, Colmore, and it's the three of you would like to come on. Who's out? What, have you got food in front of you? What I'll do, I'll just walk around and stick them, while they're reading, I'll just stick the mic under their nose and they can answer the question in 1 word or 3. The first one, again, because he's the most senior, is Graham Cook. And really, it's a bit of a statement person in the question last. That, as a youngster, you walk to the Larks Oval most Saturdays with your big brother looking after you, to watch whoever was playing, wearing an oversized red and white North Adelaide jumper and socks, which were gifted to you on the understanding it would Barrack to North Adelaide. True. You would wear the same jumper to bed with a football given to you by North Adelaide under the pillow. How come you then become such a devoted Port Adelaide player? Can't remember. How's that for world? Can't remember. Better answer to that.
That's a pretty brief story. Friends of ours originally were very keen North Adelaide supporters, and my first jumper that I ever got was a North Adelaide jumper, number 15. I think it belonged to a bloke by the name of Paul Guinness. But we're in the Port District, mate, and we're the Magpies.
Steve, you're the most next senior. I've got a question for you. Could you please tell all the guests here your response to your first junior coach, who was?
Mr. Cooper.
Okay. When he tried to explain to you how to market football. Now, I know the answer to this one, so you better be careful, Steve, how you answer this.
I'm now 69 years of age. That was 55 years ago, whatever it might have been. I've got no idea, but I would have been successful in doing it anyway.
Well, Steve, you do know the answer, don't you? You said to him, no, I can't, it hurt my fingers.
It's probably a good result. I also was asked about the Cooper family, who were the better footballers in the family. And I rated Graham by far the best footballer. I then rated Denise. And Darryl was very much third. Since then there's been 3 kids by Darryl, 2 by Graham and 2 by Denise, and I think they all go ahead of Darryl.
Thanks a lot, Steve. You know how to put somebody down, don't you? So we just had to give one back now. Cole. Now I know the answer to this one too. How come you finished up playing for Exeter after 2 years out of football?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I think I came down to practice and I decided to come down to Arts and practice. And Exeter were practicing that night, so that's how I came to play with Exeter. Centrals were playing, or training, maybe I would have played with Central, but I think I made the right decision. Sorry, Central.
Sorry, Ken and Steve, you know, all you blokes at the back there. But, okay, it's question and answer time. Anybody in the public, so we've got a roving mic here. Anybody in the public like to ask any of these 3 questions? Put your hand up, stand up. Oh, Moggy, one of our greats of the past.
Just to follow more, you experienced a very severe career-ending injury. Can you tell us any memories of that incident?
Thanks for that, Moggy. I can't really. With the incident happened out here in Large Reserve, and as Darryl said, it was the 15th of August, 1972. We're playing St Dominic's. Obviously, I think I must have been going for the ball, and I hit from behind, and whether it was a knee or an elbow or what, I've got no idea. So I was playing the knee. Okay, the knee, yeah, it was out here on the wing. So then I thought, well, I'll go down to the forward pocket and see what happens. But it wasn't knocked out. Then I think I went for another ball and I couldn't bend the neck. So I decided I was going to come off. So that's what happened. And then that night I was taken out to hospital. Then, how long was it? Maybe about 10 days in the spinal injuries ward. And fortunately I recovered. So it was a fracture in the C2 vertebrae. So it could have been disastrous. I may not have been here if it was any worse than what it was. But it put an end to my career, and I'm very fortunate to be here. Thank you.
Very courageous football, always down at the bottom of the pack, but I remember visiting the hospital and Steve got a terrible crown of thorns sticking on his head.
You shouldn't have said that, Darryl. I really feel bad about this because I don't know whether anybody knows at that stage I was the runner on that occasion that day, and I said, oh, he's not hurt. And I went out there and I said to Seymour, get up, and I went to pick him up, you know, and I still don't know to this day whether I break his bloody neck or not. But anyway, my question is to Stevie Trainer, skinny 15-year-old that played in the A grade for Exeter, and as you can imagine, it was like unbelievable for a 15-year-old to be playing. And of course, there was things in progress to sort of look after him, and Do you remember the bloke that was designated to look after you that day? It wasn't me.
Against Rosewater Oval, I can tell you, I know it's mongrel still used to like to hit people behind, not from the front.
I would not have a clue. I can remember who I was playing with, Barry Skinner, Telford Chambers, Kevin Rose, Ralph Winter, I think was a ruckman. I reckon Graham Durbridge was a fullback. Graham Willoughby might have been a rover in those days. Now I'm struggling. But who would, Donnie King. I reckon Donnie King might have been the guy. He was a bit of a runner. What I do remember was at three-quarter time, there was an old trainer fellow that used to bring out something in a brown paper bag. And I'm not sure if it was pork or sherry. And I wondered, what is this? And besides the bottle in the bag, 6 or 8 players were smoking. And I thought, is this football? I've never smoked all of my life, and hence I'm 6'5". Graham Woodman used to smoke about 6 packs a day. He's 3'7".
Tell the truth, there was one other player you didn't mention that played alongside that day, and he was actually following, and he was trying to protect you all that game. Any other questions? I didn't name who it was.
Yeah, I've got this from Darryl about Graham, so this is good, isn't it? Can you tell us, Graham, what the junior coach Tom Garland said to you after you kicked the winning goal, flipped your side in the grand final? I don't know what year it was, but can you tell us that? I've no idea, Darryl.
There we go.
The idea is to go on to our friend, that's a bit of kick the morning, kick the ground, so I really will. I might just take this opportunity to say a couple of words, because as a member of the Cooper family, I never had much to say, because someone above me was always a fair bit to say, and I just was a very quiet fellow. And when I was playing football, they used to call me Esmo, because that was, people used to try and engage me in talking, used to say, yep, no, that was it. But what I'd like to say,
Oh, yeah. That's better.
what I'd like to say is this. I started my junior football at Exeter, and then I went to Port Adelaide, played college football and then A-grade football. But there's probably 2 very special people in the film today. One is Merck Knapp, and the other one is. And when you look back on your life, and there's a lot of memories of your life, and you look back and you think of the people that have actually made an impact on your life. And when we started here down in the Colts, we were the first Colts side in the district. Started up. Merv Knapp was the first coach of the senior Colts in the district here. And Merv Knapp's point of view, he was a great impact on my life. He's a gentleman, and the way he coached, I'm forever thankful and always remember Merv. And the fact of our second year that we played, I think 18 games and lost 1 during the year.
Henderson.
Was big. I'm very happy it was all. And I had a few words to say the umpire. I didn't get any votes that day, but that was the only game we lost that year. And we went on to win the grand final. Then when I went to Port Adelaide, I played with the Colts, and then went and played with A-grade. And great Jeff Motley was my first coach. And and none of life, but had a huge impact on my life. And once again, Jeff, thanks very much for everything you've done for me, and we'll ever be thankful for that. Thank you.
Thanks for that, Graham, but I believe when you came home you said that the coach said to you the black players should be kicking goals. But he probably a bit shy to say that, but it was a winning goal put them in the grand final. So any further questions from anybody around the room? Trevor? What about Len?
Just to Graham, I believe in the old days when you played Sturt, you used to stand John Howard. And every time you belted him, and he went down, you'd say, "Get up, you Bible bashing bastard." Can you remember the rest of the story after he hit you?
There you go, mate. That's Rundle died.
Well, the story I heard was after you hit him about 5 times, Howard had enough,
Honey, he's younger
and he
than
got
me.
up and belted you, and he said to the umpire, "Laurie, sweetie, what about that, Laurie?" And he said, "Not bad for a Bible bashing bastard."
There's also a bit of a story of playing Sturt, wasn't there, when Jack Odie sent a runaround to get you, wasn't it?
We're playing in a final at Adelaide Oval, and I was standing the Reverend John. And after the game, they got hit. But they said he should have been reported. And if you remember John Howard, if you ever heard him interviewed, he had a very squeaky voice. And he claimed that he was a self-defence because I tore him out of my own door, said John Howard. I had a fair grip of him, though, but he's been scored ever since.
Can you just expand on another story with playing Sturt? Sorry, but when Jack Odie sent the runner out to give a message to one of the Sturt players after you allegedly hit one of theirs. I say allegedly because you were a very fair player, weren't you? Oh, well, it was written in a book. Well, the story is that, you know, Jack Odie sent the runner out to say, have a look what he did to my player, a bit of retribution here, and really what happened is the player he took a swing, missed right, and popped one of his own, and ball bounced to the ball, whistle blew, bounced to the ball, straight down the ground, 2 kicks I reckon, mark, goal. I turned around to whoever was standing on side, that's it, we've won this game. My opponent looked at me as if I was kind of strange. I said, don't worry, you might as well walk home now, we have won this game. How many more goals did you kick that day, Barry? Can you tell us? But it gave us a great start, and that was all it was. Another one of my fond memories of that day was my good friend Kevin Biggles. He was playing on half-back flank, I think. And he got hurt just before the end of the game.
Don't they get personal now, kids?
And anyway, he had to come off. But of course he didn't want to miss the final siren. So our spares reserve's gone on, Kevin breaks away from the trainers, and I reckon he'd actually crossed the line. I reckon if they called a quick count, we would have been in trouble. And the coach just said, pull him off, pull him off. He's never had so many friends since, have you, Kevin?
His dear dad said to me, you're the first person I've ever pulled off. I thought, oh my God, I don't want to go down that path. They continued on the whole night. Charlie got pulled off. I said, oh, thanks very much for that. Down the pallet, I was like, pulled him off. He got pulled off. And he's very much.
Yeah, finished up, as the scores reflect, it was a fairly close game, and they were starting to attack towards the end of the game, and it was a fairly hot game, a very fairly tiring game, and Roger Freeman got hold of the ball not long before the end of the game and kicked the goal, and it really sealed the game. That was it, all over and dusted. But can you tell us your memories of that goal, Roger?
Well, I can stand up. The only thing I can remember is I was a fair way out and I just had a go. Must have been a bit of a towie because it ran along the ground from most probably 50 or 60 metres out and straight to the guts, and that was it. Straight, easy as that.
You've never seen this ball with so many leg breaks and off breaks. I was standing behind Roger when he let go. And I thought, gee, it's the worst kick it ever. He's usually a very clean kicker of a football. But this particular one, bounced round, sideways, left ways, right ways, finished up through the goal, as I said, the winning one. Terry, you were the four-time best and fairest. What's your memory of that day? I think you had the last kick of the day, didn't you?
I'm struggling to remember, you know, like Graham says he's had 3 licenses.
Stand up. Oh, yes.
And we can't remember, right? We can't remember. What we have come to the conclusion of, all our drinking problems all stem from association with Exeter football. We actually got initiated. I can remember being 17, sitting on the mat at 3/4 time, freezing cold day, and this bloke comes out with this bottle of stuff and we have a little swig. The next minute I'm running on top of the ground. So no wonder we drink, huh? That's right.
I must have been 13.
You got locked in the shed earlier than me.
I remember my first games down here when they told me, no, you've got to have a swig of this, gee.
Take, when in your bottle when you was a baby, that's the trouble with you.
Graham Moore, 2-time medalist. What's your memory of that day, mate?
A bloody thing, to be quite honest. No, I can't remember anything. I'm sorry, mate. It's a long time ago.
Oh, hopeless.
That's special.
On that day in the B grade, it was an unusual situation because of the fact that we had quite a few injuries, but we had 3 lads come up from the 18s and played in the B grade. 2 of them were sitting here together, Tank and Jeff Hodge, and the other one's in West Australia, Trevor Putney. He played in the A grade. But the funny part about it, going back a couple of weeks ago when we sent out the invitations, Jeff Hodge rang me back and said, oh, Jesus, tell me, he said, I can't remember playing the game, I'm not in the photograph, what happened? I said, well, I'll tell you one thing, you were in the side. He said, oh shit, how was I? I said, oh, I didn't know either. I said, but I read the Sunday Mail, you were the best players.
Yeah, that reminded me, we Kevin and I and a few others, we sat down and tried to put down the team and that sort of thing, and of course there's arguments over who played and who didn't play, and I said, well, he definitely did play, and he said, how do you know that? I said, because he's in the best players, and one of those was Peter Bob, who they said, no, he didn't play. So where are you, Peter? Over here. We've got to have people here, because here's a three Boddington boys that played for Exeter, and here's one of them played on that day and was in the best players.
Boddington. Teddy. Sean
Speaking of
Yeah, Ted never shows up at family shows, shows like this. In fact, we've had my sister's 70th birthday, daughter's come back from Canada. We've got this show today, and where's Ted? In Western Australia. But regarding that day, I remember the game, turning up, but that's it. And I know we think St. Marie's and it was a great day. As far as I know.
Talk about that day, one of the famous quotes was quotes was our captain Ted Boddington. The captain of the Seton Ramblers appeared down the club rooms on the Sunday morning, and he claimed we were lucky to win. And quiet Ted, but determined Ted, just got up and he said, yes, the luck always goes with the better side. And it's a quote that I've never forgotten.
Any other memories from that day? Who else is there played? Kevin, you got to say?
I was looking back in there.
Johnny Blackadder, you were in that 20. Can you recall your memories? No. The only thing I can remember about the day, I was 20, Trevor went on before me, and certain Ray Cooper said to me, "Go on to run the Oviedo," who was running for around percent. He said, if he goes to scratch himself, he's that close to be scratching you. And so I had a kick, and I took a mark and sent out back. The only thing I can remember, I kicked over Trevor Rape. He was on the boundary by the grandstand. I thought, the closer we get to the boundary, the easier it's going to be. And that's all I can remember. Except driving home, I had the 2 SO Tigers strapped to the side of my car.
That's it.
Brian Green was
Put a tiger in your tank, wasn't it?
Put a tiger in your tank.
It was.
I must have been in nappies. I can't remember that. No, honestly, I can't remember hardly any of the day. Just that it must have been a bloody good day, but no, I can't. I wish I could tell you a lot of stories, but no, I can't. Sorry.
Did you get a kick?
No, I probably didn't. Ask Tomo.
Moggy, did you play the Glevo that night? You did? Come on, Moggy, can you remember more than your little mate here?
I'm afraid I'm in the same league, we went to the same school. No, I really can't remember much about the day at all, but I know we had a lot of fun at all. What I can tell you is, as a senior colt, going back to those days, Kenny Hayward, remember Kenny Hayward? He would give us a sherry at half and 3/4 time. And we did a senior colt trip to Port Perry. And as we were pulling to Port Perry station, Kenny said, geez, I'm in trouble. But I just went to the toilet and I lost all my piles.
Travel from Western Australia. Yeah. You can't remember, don't you? Can remember that? Blackie game.
When you come down.
Okay, Greggy's putting his hand up.
Yeah, Brooksy.
Did Brooksy play? No.
He'll talk. He'll tell you.
I just introduced the man alongside of me. He played, and he doesn't even remember playing. So yeah, Brian John.
Thanks, Brian. I've got the same memories as Moggy. I've got no recollection at all playing that day. In fact, when I got here today, I said, no, I didn't play that year. I had a cartridge out, and that was the end of me. Somebody said, no, you didn't have your cartridge out early that year. It was later. And so I changed the story and said, no, I didn't even live here then. And I honestly believe both stories. Sorry I can't help with the
I don't know. I've got wonderful memories that day. I reckon that's one of the great days of my life.
Slayer.
Maybe that's one of the reasons.
This is going up on the website, mate.
No, this is about Grand Final today, but I'd just like to publicly acknowledge Merton Nat. He coached me in the junior Colts days, senior Colts days, and there's a lot of things that, the only thing why I don't want to mention it, but it wouldn't do you any good for your reputation. So, but he taught me a fair bit about football when in those early days. So I'd like to acknowledge you publicly. Thanks a lot, man.
Hey, Rocky.
One of our most respected, wonderful record.
I think if anybody studied the photograph up there too, there's in the A grade, there's a little mascot that's right in front there, and he's here today. So I reckon we should hear from most probably the youngest member in that photograph, Neil Winter.
I think it might have been your father's school girl, wasn't it?
Yeah, I really can't remember it either, what the rest of these plays here. I don't know if it actually took place, did it? No, it's, I can't remember either. Really, everybody else. Sorry.
Yeah, you're already very young. But Pat, where's the wheelbarrow?
Where is my wheelbarrow? Nobody knows. I've the end of the day. That's right, yeah. Bloody yeah.
Just a couple of quick ones. As I said, we've got a couple of semi-central blokes here, and they were pretty hard, always hard games. I remember as a kid when we used to come down here and watch them play, there'd always be scraps, and when we, during my playing days, they were always scraps. And we'll just get a few words from, where is he?
He's gone to the bar.
Yeah, hang on. He's at the bar. Do you want a few words, Tank?
Seeing that everybody else has forgotten what it was like, I'll tell you, I was down there in the Huffle plate. Paul come in, I took a big screamer, took all the pegboard, heavy pegboard over the park, kicked it on there, and there was a goal. And we just went, oh, isn't that great, mate? You know, and then we played, give me play great that day.
Thank you. Somebody said about Jeff Hodgson, I said, well, I know he played that day because I didn't happen to have to keep the cuttings out of the Sunday advertising at the bottom, because in those days amateur leagues used to get quite reasonable write-ups, and lo and behold, the actual A2 premiership got a bigger write-up than the A1 premiership, and Jeff Hodge did get a mention in the paper that day for being the best players. That's how we knew we played. Yeah. But Ken, perhaps just as a looking for the Semaphore Central side, which we're all one club now, all 4 districts, feel like that a few words?
So thanks, Darryl. It's great to be here today and celebrate with you guys for your magnificent premiership, or double premiership in those times. When I came down here in '65 to coach Centrals, I'd only heard about the Semaphore Central Exeter clashes. By Jesus, they were something to see when I ran into the first one down here. But they were great games, and the people that used to be here, there was enormous crowds. I was a runner one day after I finished, and I got pelted with orange peel all the way from the goals around to here. But the funny thing about it was, we used to fight like cat and dog out in the field, but we used to have a good time after. And I think that's exemplified by the amalgamation of the 2 clubs, and see how everybody gets on in these days. We're all good mates, we play golf together and everything else goes with it. But getting back to why we're here, on behalf of all Central people involved, thanks for extending the invitation. It's great to be here and help you celebrate it. Well done.
Thanks, man.
Thanks a lot, Ken. I remember playing Semaphore Central one day when you were playing full back. There was nothing more fierce than everyone had a full back. Does he have any teeth in the front? Yeah. Bloody great bands on his leg. He always told you to get out of the road before he got there. He didn't stand aside, you'd bury you. Any other person thanks the footy club that wants to have a few words? Oh, Peter. Yeah, here's one that wants. Where's Peter? Where are you sitting, Peter? Oh, here it is.
I'm back over there. I can't remember the 63 time either. I know I played for Exeter because 57 started junior Colts, and I've got 3 motors with them. One with the Super Colts in 60, but I never got a motor, and Darryl rang me up and I said, no, I don't remember I was playing. I said, he said, yeah, I can see you in the boat. I said, yeah, with big ears, and he said, yeah, that's you. So, I'm terrible with memory, but I had a slight seizure 10 years ago, I've got to blame that one.
We haven't got our captain here that day, and talking about Central Exeter clashes and talking about our captain at that area, Ted Bollington. We were playing Centrals out here one day and he got hit and he could see he was hurt. But he stayed on the field and he finished up, he come off a bit later and I said to him, Ted, you were hurt. I said, he didn't know he was. I didn't want to show those passes, they hurted me. That was just the sort of bloke he was, as skinny and as light as he was, he tried out to the end. But we haven't got him here, we have got our vice captain of that year, Peter Harris. Thanks,
Darren. Yeah, it's a privilege to me to be here today, and I've got to catch up with a lot of people. We've all changed, I must say that. But I just want to point, oh that's right, I had a corky, I couldn't line up. And I remember, who was it? It would have been Ray, coaching in those days. And I tried desperately Thursday night to home, and I was getting along like a three-legged horse. And so anyhow, I went to the game, and when we won the final, it made me feel really happy about what it transpired, because that pushed us back up into A1 again. But the funny part about it, I sprinted across the ground, I couldn't even feel the thing about the ball. So I thought, if it was played tomorrow, I might have been part of that winning side. Nevertheless, well done to those guys. I just want to put in an experience I had. And I'm not sure one of the was involved here. And I got involved in a clash with one of the guys at Kilburn Footy Club. Went up for a mark and he belted him, put his head back and a blade of knots and smashed his cheekbone. So I put me down the half-back flank and first time the ball came down there, I saw about 4 of them. And then the trainer went off and he came back 5 minutes later and I said, there's still 4 balls out there. So I went off and had a rest did the change race. Shocking headache. And one of the Warmer boys said, I'll take you to the hospital. I had to go to the hospital with Queen Elizabeth. I wasn't feeling too good in the back seat. And we went all the way there, and I told him, hurry up, I'm not feeling real well at all. He just picked up the car, but I couldn't hold it. I wanted to go all over his brother's strangle in the back seat. Now I can't recall that I apologised to him or what. I don't know what. But I do know funny part about a cousin that played for the local guys there, and he broke his leg on that day and he walked in on crutches. His name was Kentini. He walked in on crutches and he said, "He's a little bloody mess," and I said, "Well, you're not much better either." So that was one of the things. I don't know who it was that I went in the car with, but I apologise to take the mess. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Peter. Just one other bloke I'd just like to acknowledge. When I first started playing cricket, I played a few Colts games and then they tried to tell me 16-year-old was too old for playing Colts. So I did think about going up to Port Adelaide, but I finished up, they taught me to stay down here and playing B grade, and which I did. And the team manager back in those days was Tommy Luckman. And he'd been with the club right through all those years. And one of my other memories of that 1963 grand final was when we were all walking off, and everybody was singing the club song, I reckon, walking off the ground, and Tommy Luckman come racing up and put his arm around me, and here he is, he's still here, supporting the club.
Sarah.
Special man. Well, thanks very much for that. If there's anybody got anything more to say? Put up your hands or wherever, hold your peace. Just once again, thanks for our special guests, Jeff Motley, Graham, Steve and Colin.
But a special thanks to all those players that responded and have joined us here today. It's just great to see players, and I guess you'll feel the same. People you haven't seen for a number of years. I know a lot of us do see each other, but just thanks for responding and thanks for making the day it is. And hope you can hang around and watch our team, because the club is going playing well this year, and it's a big game today. So we're hoping for a win today. That'll really consolidate forward. Thanks very much.